channel strategy of the president. We've seen it. I can't count how many times going right. So Robert Mueller is going to testify. Wouldn't be surprised if the president tries to do something that almost interrupts it. We'll see him on the lawn before he departs that night to his event. But the point is, he's going to try to take the headline away from Robert Mueller.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear. People will watch Robert Mueller. I mean, you can't. I mean, I think he'll be testifying by day. The rally's going to be at night. Right. Donald Trump will do what he can, but I mean, people will hear what Robert Mueller says. I mean, I think the onus here is on the quality of the questions that the members of Congress ask. I mean, I think what saves someone like President Trump in cases like this is that the Democrats, particularly, make speeches, right? They just want to. I mean, it basically becomes a filibuster. Robert Mueller's not going to be inclined to say that much at all.
Yeah.
But if you ask him the right questions, he will be forced to engage, and he will be forced to actually be revelatory. And unfortunately, and I'm speaking as a reporter, so I have a different job than lawmakers, obviously, but the question's all in the quickness of the question and the sharpness of the question.
And a lot of it, Ken, you can anticipate, right? He may say, hey, I'm not going to discuss hypotheticals. Like, I won't say whether this is for Congress to decide. That wasn't my job. My job was to say what I said. Here's what I said. So what are those questions? Where are those moments, as you see it, that Robert Mueller could actually have some impact?
I think Republicans actually have a greater chance potentially to make some inroads here. We've already seen them starting to signal what types of questions, what types of issues they have with the report and with the investigation. So we're talking about things like FISA abuse and how some of the initial investigative steps that led to the investigation, questions about those. We're talking about leaving out what in the minds of Trump's defenders is exculpatory information, such as about Paul Manafort and the payments that Paul Manafort accepted, and a ledger in Ukraine showing those payments, and whether Paul Manafort's Ukrainian deputy was in fact
only at 90 minutes, but it is going to take you much longer than 90 minutes to get through that. In fact, we'll take you over to the west side and show you that this looks exactly the same as you head southbound. There is no great way around this. You're going to have to pack a lot of patience. In fact, maybe doing the getaway tomorrow. Expressed interest reporting live over the Holland Tunnel. Shannon Salem, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Oh my.
90 minutes.
Oh,
Canal Street
that looks awful.
to Times Square.
Oh. I mean, there's only so many times a year, you know, we're going into a holiday.
Right, you know,
like,
you want to be happy, you want to get home.
It's going to take people a day to recover from it.
I know.
Still shaking.
Like I want to come into the city again.
That burger's going to taste
Well, at
real
least
good
it's not
tomorrow.
raining.
Yeah. Oh, great. I know you're worried about Sunday, so don't worry. It's not bad. Outside we go right now. We have what is some cloud cover in the south, a little sprinkle over Staten Island, but there's not much rain around. A little thunderstorm over Southern Ocean. So we're at 87 right now. It's mostly cloudy. July 4th history, the warmest 102 back in 1949. The coldest back in 1986. Nearly 2 inches of rain in 1981. The average high in the middle 80s. We were there last year. We'll be there this year. This will be the third straight dry July 4th after going through a stretch where we had rain 2014 to 2016. If you get in the yard ready for the holiday, there might be a shower from the city south and west of the city. Pace yourself. It's warm and humid. Temperatures dropping to the 70s. Air quality is moderate tomorrow. UV index at a high 9. Sunnier day than today. Pollen count low to moderate. Boaters, southeasterly wind 5 to 10. Waves about 2 feet. Beachgoers, your water temperatures are getting into low and mid 70s. The sound is still in the 60s. Rip current risk should be low with the light southeast wind maybe leaning toward moderate a little later in the day. Just keep an eye out for that. A couple sprinkles over Staten Island, so I'll settling to the south. A little sprinkle near the Hamptons, and some thunderstorms over Southern Ocean County. But you can see there'll just be a couple of widely scattered showers or thunder showers that go through western and southern New Jersey. That would just be for the next few hours, and that's it. By the way, I stopped that around 7 o'clock tonight because it's still going to be a passing sprinkle over Citi Field, but it's no problem for the Subway Series tonight. Tomorrow morning, upper 60s, lower 70s. With more of a northeast than easterly wind, our humidity gets knocked down a little bit, but also the ocean breeze tends to really squash any thunderstorm development. So that's going to happen across eastern Pennsylvania. We're good for fireworks display. There may be some low patchy clouds that try to come in. I think we're in good shape. Warm and humid, upper 70s. As we go into the day on Friday and the front approaches in the afternoon hours, especially north and west, there'll be a couple of showers or thunderstorms. I think it's a little more widespread on Saturday. So 78 tomorrow night for the fireworks. Any thunderstorm chance is well to the west. We should be dry for the display. All right, here's your 7-day. So inland, there's a couple of showers or thunderstorms Friday afternoon. Keep that in mind. Now on Saturday, it's just about any time because the front sitting over us. It's probably more numerous in the afternoon. The
only little change to Sunday is the front's a little slower to get off the coast. There might be a little morning cloudiness, maybe a stray leftover shower. Otherwise, clouds breaking for sun and the humidity's dropping during the afternoon. Still a really nice day, 82. And then Monday and Tuesday are absolutely gorgeous.
Subway Series, we'll get it in, you think?
Oh, yeah, no problem. I'm just passing shower.
Because the Mets are on a roll, you know. One day.
It happens once a season.
You know?
Thank you, Lee. Look, I'm going to see you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
A true Hollywood murder mystery.
Robert Blake is considered a suspect in the murder of his wife.
So you think I'm a monster too? The 2020 special. Lady Clara Griswold, but I'm still here. Smoke that. Friday at 9, 8 Central on ABC.
You've got the freedom to save during Ray Warren Flanagan's Independence Day sale. Everything's on sale. Save $450 on this Shiloh living room set. Save $250 on this Wexford dining room. Save $150 on this Angelina bed. All with no interest financing for 72 months with equal payments. Plus, come in store to find out how you could drive away in a 2019 Mercedes-Benz E300. Ends July 4th at Ray Warren Flanagan.
Are you ready for the biggest summer ever? Go big with Altice One from Optimum. Now only $64.99 a month for the first year. That's 200 meg internet, 4K Ultra HD TV, over 220 channels, unlimited data, and a 40% better Wi-Fi experience. Plus, finding the biggest shows is a summer breeze thanks to a newly upgraded operating system and voice-activated remote. Power your home with the all-in-one immersive entertainment experience of Altice One. All you have to do is call 866-200-7269. And now you'll get a $200 Amazon.com gift card. Stuck in a contract, we'll give you up to $500 when you switch and won't make you sign a new one. Start summer right with big entertainment. Get Altice One for only $64.99 a month for the first year. Plus a $200 Amazon.com gift card during Optimum's big summer deals. Call 866-200-7269 today or visit Optimum.com. Go big with Altice One. Only at Optimum.
What does it take to be named 2019 Motor Trend Car of the Year? And 2019 North American Car of the Year? In a word, everything. The Genesis G70.
Jet goes everywhere.
Each lasting 4 hours or more. Botox injections take about 15 minutes in your doctor's office, and they're covered by most insurance.
The effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
With the Botox Savings Program, most people with commercial insurance pay nothing out of pocket. Text SAVE to 27747 to check your eligibility, then talk to your doctor.
It always pays to stay on your thing, especially when you're going places. We'll leave the light on for you. Everyone looks to throw a front. Well, then shoot. Luckily, I don't have that. Because the quiz that once gave you confidence can help us walk it like Korea and Ireland. So throw back and donate to Men's Warehouse today.
Also in our national news, growing outrage after a New Jersey judge said a teenage boy accused of rape deserves some leniency because the boy is, quote, from a good family. The judge saying that if the young man was tried as an adult, it could ruin his life. The then 16-year-old who allegedly reported himself raping a drunk teenage girl at a party. He then shared the video with his friends with the accompanying passage of facts, quote, when your first time having sex was rape, unquote. CNN's Athena Jones digs into some disturbing allegations.
A New Jersey family court judge is under fire after ruling a 16-year-old boy accused of raping an intoxicated 16-year-old girl should not be tried as an adult, in part because he comes from a good family. The decision by Judge James Triano was reversed last month, allowing prosecutors to pursue an indictment in adult court.
The judge completely disregarded the law. Let's be clear here. What the judge was trying to determine had nothing to do with whether someone's background was privileged, whether someone's background wasn't. It was a simple legal question.
The case stems from a 2017 incident where the alleged attacker, identified in court papers as GMC, and the alleged victim, identified as Mary, were both intoxicated. According to court documents, GMC filmed himself penetrating Mary from behind on his cell phone, displaying her bare torso and her head hanging down. He forwarded the video clip to several friends and later sent a text saying, "When your first time having sex was rape." The prosecutor argues GMC had sex with Mary while she was physically helpless and unable to provide consent, and that GMC's behavior was calculated and cruel. In denying the prosecutor's request to move the case to adult court, Judge Soriano argued the incident wasn't a traditional case of rape because it did not involve two or more attackers or a weapon. He said GMC's text was just a 16-year-old kid saying stupid crap to his friends. Soriano also dismissed Mary's level of intoxication and noted the boy was an Eagle Scout, saying, "This young man comes from a good family. We put him into an excellent school where he was doing extremely well. He is clearly a candidate for not just college, but probably for good college." And Judge Soriano was not commenting on the case and Sam was not able to reach the attorney for the alleged victim. Meanwhile, the mom
You're not like 9. You're not like 9.
while we have the utmost respect for the
You like
judgment.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, Andre. You're not like them.
In this case, met the
Thank you,
legal
see?
standards of waiver for superior court.
I might just need some ketchup. You can leave it out.
Okay.
I'll leave it on the table, yeah.
And her family.
Comes from a good family. What about her? What about her? Lady Jones, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
See? You let me come in the kitchen and get my water.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful 4th of July. Our president.
Happening now, breaking news. Far better now. After a government watchdog reveals a nightmare situation in border detention centers, President Trump tweets that many detainees are living far better now than in their own home country. Completely unacceptable. As President Trump praises the Border Patrol for going above and beyond, the acting Homeland Security Chief orders an immediate investigation into, quote, completely unacceptable social media posts allegedly made by Border Patrol personnel. I'll talk exclusively with the former acting director of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Show of force. President Trump says the July 4th celebration of himself is worth the cost as he downplays how much money is being spent and the additional military assets being deployed. Tonight, sources tell CNN that military leaders are not happy. And census contradiction. President Trump says the Commerce Department is not dropping its quest to put a citizenship question on the census form, even though Commerce and the Justice Department have already said the question is being dropped. I'm Will Flitzer. You're in the situation.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Breaking news as concerns rose about conditions for migrants detained on the border. President Trump has issued a stunning tweet saying many detainees are, quote, living far better now than where they came from. And he praises the Border Patrol for doing a, quote, great job above and beyond. This comes as the acting Homeland Security Chief orders an immediate investigation of offensive social media posts allegedly written by Border Patrol agents and as doctors share disturbing images drawn by migrant children showing people behind bars. Also tonight, feverish preparations are underway for the 4th of July celebration here in Washington on the National Mall. But this year, President Trump is taking charge as the Commander-in-Chief deploys tanks and aircraft. A source tells CNN that military leaders have concerns about the event being politicized. I'll have an exclusive interview with the former acting director of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Ron Vitello, and I'll speak with Senator Mazie Hirono of the Armed Services Committee. Plus, our correspondents and analysts will have full coverage of the day's top stories. Let's begin with the breaking news. Our White House correspondent Caitlin Collins is standing by. Caitlin, the truly extraordinary burst of tweets by the president over the past few minutes. What's he saying?
Yeah, well, just here in the last hour, the president seems to be responding to these reports of these deteriorating conditions at these border facilities. And he says, quote, our border people are not hospital workers, doctors, or nurses. The Democrats' bad immigration laws, which could be easily fixed, are the problem. He says it's a great job by Border Patrol, above and beyond, and he says many of these illegal aliens are living far better now than where they came from and in far safer conditions. Then Wolf, he added another stunning one a few moments later, and he said, if illegal immigrants are unhappy with the conditions in the quickly built detention centers, just tell them not to come, all problems solved. Now, Wolf, this comes after a report from the president's own government detailed the conditions of some of these border detention facilities, essentially saying that they are overcrowded, that this is a widespread issue, and that these facilities are dirty. Some of these people are in standing room only. They don't have hot meals. Some of them haven't taken showers in the entire time that they've been there. But of course, the president's tweets, Wolf, are coming after you've seen several Democrats visit those facilities in recent days where they themselves talked about the conditions of them, including one who said that they saw some of them drinking from toilets for water. So the president is here turning this into less of a statement about how his government is handling these facilities and instead putting the blame onto Democrats. And of course, Wolf, this all comes as the acting DHS Secretary, Kevin McAleenan, has said he is going to investigate those reports about that Facebook group that reportedly includes current and former Border Patrol agents mocking the deaths of migrants, talking about them in a derogatory fashion, something that he said is unacceptable.
Paper Collins at the White House. We'll stand by. We're going to get back to you, but I want to go to the southern border right now, where first-hand reports by lawmakers and some shocking images are raising fresh concern. CNN Scott McLean is joining us from El Paso, Texas, right now. Scott, what are you learning?
Hey, well, the new reports from inside some of these Border Patrol holding facilities show that it will take a lot of work to address the sometimes appalling conditions and severe overcrowding inside. It seems that neither Democrats nor Republicans can agree on what the problem is or how to solve it, but now a clear majority of Americans say there is no disputing this is a crisis. Tonight, the border crisis through the eyes of the most vulnerable. Drawings depicting children in cages are from 10 and 11-year-old migrants who were recently held inside a Customs and Border Patrol detention center. A doctor from the American Academy of Pediatrics tells CBS she received the drawings from a social worker while touring two facilities last week. That doctor now describing what she saw and smelled.
When they opened the door, the first thing that hit us was a smell. And it was a smell of sweat, urine, and feces. And I heard crinkling to my left, and I looked over there, and there was a sea of silver. I describe them almost like dog cages, with people in each of them, and the silence were just hard to watch, hard to see.
The drawings come in addition to newly released photos showing extreme overcrowding in facilities in the Rio Grande Valley during an unannounced June visit by a government watchdog group. A report by the DHS Inspector General found multiple violations of U.S. detention policy, including a lack of hot meals and inadequate access to showers. One Border Patrol agent who agreed to go on camera only if their identity was concealed described the conditions in the El Paso sector to CNN.
The cells, they are, what I would say, filthy. We have a maintenance and cleaning crew that clean the general area, but I have never seen them cleaning counters or cleaning toilets in the cells, cleaning sinks in the cell. Sometimes you go in a cell and there's trash everywhere.
Following a congressional delegation's visit to the border this week, Democratic Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi is calling on President Trump to immediately establish final plans, standards, and protocols to protect the health and safety of individuals in the custody of U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Also tonight, the acting Homeland Security Chief has ordered an immediate investigation into offensive posts and comments allegedly made in a private Facebook group used by current and former Border Patrol personnel. The posts exposed by the investigative group ProPublica included jokes about immigrant deaths and lewd Photoshop images. Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Acting Secretary Kevin McAleenan tweeting, any employee found to have compromised the public's trust in our law enforcement mission will be held accountable. They do not represent the men and women of the Border Patrol or DHS. Now, the number of migrants arrested by Border Patrol in June was about 95,000. That is a 28% decrease from May, and it may seem like authorities are getting a handle on the problem, but it is still almost 3 times as many as the same time last year.
Scott McLean reporting from El Paso. Thank you. And joining us now, the former acting director of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Ron Vitello. This is his first exclusive interview with President Trump abruptly pulled his nomination to be the permanent director of ISIS, saying he wanted to go in a quote tougher direction. Thanks very much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Hi, you've reached Richard. If this is real estate related, please follow back up with a text message. For all other matters.
This is an opportunity for me to talk about what the conditions of these work coalitions and the men and women lives are facing in this crisis at the border. The humanitarian crisis, the security crisis, and the poverty. And you talk about the conditions that we just saw in these reports this year. When you're more than 100% over capacity in a holding facility, that's only designed for people to come in for the booking process. You take their fingerprints, you take their biographic information, and then you move them through the system. The system is overwhelmed.
Just come back in like 3 minutes.
These people are living far better now than where they came from and are in far safer conditions.
I'm gonna be finished with your catch-up and everything.
These eyewitness accounts of these kids they're having to deal with soap, showers, toothbrushes, toothpaste. It's horrendous.
We started talking about this while I was still in government last fall when we saw the numbers coming back. We've been asking for relief both on the humanitarian side and the security side, and we've asked Congress multiple times to change the way the laws are operationalized to send or bring their children to the border. When no action is taken as it relates to how these laws are operationalized, we're going to get overwhelmed. They're currently overwhelmed. They have been for many months.
So when the president tweets these words, what he's saying, is he wrong?
He's saying that the situation is bad. He's been talking about this crisis for weeks and weeks. For a long time, people ignored it. People who could do something about it have ignored it. They claim that.
But when he says many of these illegal aliens are living far better now than where they came,
they're not living in those places. They're only there for a short amount of time so they can get processed and put in the system and move down the road. All of the people that come with their children are being released.
Under these offers.
Under the law, the children have to be held until they can get into the care of HHS, Health and Human Services. That's by law. There's no options there. The people who come illegally have to be processed. We have to know who they are. We have to give them their opportunity to make an asylum claim.
I'm finished, but do what you want to do, because that's how you act.
The Inspector General, you saw his report, reports from the Department of Homeland Security describing horrendous conditions, which are shocking to not only people here in the United States, but people all over the world.
When you're more than over 100%.
I'm finished with your catch-up. So just put it back.
Those are highly regulated facilities, but those facilities were designed to handle people in the booking procedures, nothing more.
But you've gone through this Inspector General's report. Do you agree with the report?
I've not seen the report. I've not seen the headlines.
Do you agree with that?
I agree that there's a crisis down there, and the OIG seems to have stated the obvious, that they're overwhelmed and they need more resources.
So what needs to be done to alleviate this?
Well, the supplemental funding that the president waited 60 days for Congress to act on will add capacity in the HHS continuum, so they'll get more capacity to get children out of CBP custody faster. CBP will also get additional resources for contract medical staff and for additional facilities, soft-sided structures, so they have a more adequate place to process the people that they take in custody. Because there are thousands of people coming to the border.
This potentially is a very dangerous situation, not only for these migrants, but for Border Patrol agents who have to do it.
That's absolutely true. They didn't sign up for this kind of work. They're in the same conditions that these people are at. They fortunately get to go home at the end of the night, but they're subject to the same maladies that are in these facilities. We have overcrowding and they're overcapacity.
But this notion of what? I can't understand why kids can't shower, can't brush their teeth, can't wash their hands.
The facilities are overwhelmed. The conditions are overwhelming. There's only so much floor space. There's only so much room in these locations for people to be processed. I can assure you they're working as fast as they can to do this and adjusting facilities as this money comes on.
The acting Secretary of Homeland Security, she's not ordering an investigation. into this report that we've all seen right now, quoting very disturbing, inexcusable social media activity allegedly involving current Border Patrol agents, and this private Facebook page with thousands of people participating, right? You saw the Republica, mocking immigrants, members of Congress. First of all, were you aware of this Facebook post?
Not until the headlines came out.
You didn't know that all these people were involved in this?
I did not.
You were not involved in this?
I was not.
Would you have allowed it to have you spoken to
Agents of the public health, the public trust, they have worked hard to maintain. If people went on Facebook and conducted misconduct activities that were against the ethical conduct that we expect as work presidents, the secretaries call for an investigation, we will uncover that, and they'll be held to account for what they did.
Let's get to your nomination to be the ICE director. In April, you were supposed to travel with the president to the southern border, but instead he announced he was pulling your nomination. First of all, how did you find out about it?
My staff had heard rumors, we got in contact from Congress about the nomination.
Did you have any direct connection to the president?
I did.
Did you ever meet with the president?
I met with the president when I did take the job, yes.
And what did you say to him?
When I met with him?
Yeah.
He wanted to assure me that he was going to submit my nomination, and we talked about how difficult the work would be.
In explaining why he was pulling your nomination, he said he wanted to go in a, quote, tougher direction. How did he explain that to you?
Well, he also said on camera that I was a good guy, so I choose to focus on the glass half full.
But what did he mean what was your understanding when he said he wanted to go in a tougher direction?
I have no idea. I don't know what he knows. I don't know what he was told about my conduct. I was trying to do two things simultaneously. I was trying to operate and run the agency while seeking and getting the confirmation for the nomination.
Has he chosen, as far as you know, you spent a long time in this position, has he chosen someone with tougher immigration positions?
I have no idea.
And he has never called you and explained why he was pulling your nomination?
I don't know what the president knows.
Because you dedicated your career to this entire process. And so how do you feel right now, seeing what has happened, first of all to you, but also to the entire Border Protection personnel?
Me personally, I had a good run. I did everything I could to help protect this country and maintain the oath that I took in 1985. I'm disappointed that all of the urgings of the department, when I was at ICE and when I was at CBP, for us to have them act to fix the situation on the border, the tools are in their hands. This administration has done more to address this problem than any administration I've seen in my 34-year career.
So what would you be doing differently right now if you were the ICE director?
Differently, not much.
You would not. How would you deal with this crisis? There's a crisis.
Well, we would take the supplemental funding and add capacity in the enforcement continuum, making sure that there was enough space for the single adults that are coming to the border, and then putting more contract money on transportation to move people out of CBP custody quicker.
Would you be doing raids on individuals who are already here and getting them expelled?
ICE doesn't conduct raids, but interior enforcement is an important calculus for this problem.
So what would you be doing
as it relates to
removing individuals, removing migrants who cross the border, let's say, illegally?
So when they're ordered by a judge after their due process opportunity, it's the job of ICE and the deportation removal operations to find those folks and get them removed.
But Border Patrol, how would you deal with Border Patrol with these individuals?
Border Patrol, the supplemental funding, they'll address the facilities as they can, working closer with Mexico as the president has leveraged them to do more than they've ever done before. Good level of communication there at the border so that we can implement further the migrant protection program.
You were the former deputy chief of the U.S. Border Patrol too. The average American chief for a bit, and you were a chief too. So what do they need to understand about what this job is all about?
It's a difficult job. It requires dedicated men and women that work hard each and every day to protect and serve this country.
What you're hearing from your former colleagues, I suspect morale is pretty low.
They're overwhelmed. They're in a situation that they did not choose to be in. It's a situation that they can't get themselves out of. There's one tool here that needs to be put into place, and that's new legislation that addresses the Flores settlement and that looks at the way TVPRA treats unaccompanied children. We have to dissuade people from sending or bringing their children to the border. Otherwise, this misery is going to continue. It's going to continue in those countries. It's going to continue in Mexico and at our own
on board. How much of the blame do you put on the president right now for taking these decisions and detaining individuals that previous administrations weren't detaining?
That's got nothing to do with what's happening at the border now. What's happening at the border now is there's no consequence if you bring or send your child. In my career, when we have been able to hold people during the pendency of their immigration hearing and remove them,
But you're detaining a lot more good people now than you used to.
Because there's a lot more traffic at the border than there's ever been.
So who's to blame?
The law, the way it's operationalized, Congress has failed to act to close these loopholes.
But what about the funding for all of it?
Well, they waited 60 days to give the president a supplemental request that addresses the exact humanitarian concerns that are raised in the OIG report.
Spent a whole career, as you know, the president has cut aid to what's called the Northern Plan in these countries, Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, and as a result, the situation there has deteriorated, in effect causing a lot more people to try to flee to the United States.
So it's important for us to continue a dialogue with those countries and help them do law enforcement and governance in those countries. And I think if those programs were effective, I'm sure that the funding would.
Was it a mistake to stop the funding?
No, I don't believe so.
You would have stopped the funding as well?
Well, there has to be some leverage applied to these locations. It worked on the tariff threat with Mexico. Let's see what happens in Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. They're very concerned in those countries. The leadership there wants their youth to stay in those countries.
Final question, what do you say to the families of these individuals who are suffering along the border right now here in the United States of America?
I would tell them to not send their children or bring their children to the border.
But if they're threatened, if they're in danger where they are right now, when there's gangs, they got to do something to save their kids.
Yeah, I think that they need to address that at home. I mean, I feel for these people. You cannot be a border police for as many years as I was without showing a significant level of compassion.
Isn't this a country that has always welcomed people who are so in danger?
And we still do.
But we don't. Right now, it doesn't seem like we're welcoming.
The law is they're all coming in and they're only in custody as long as they can be processed, and many of them have not shown up for their subsequent hearing.
Look, we're all grateful to you for speaking out. This is an extremely, extremely important issue right now. It's affecting so much of public attitude about what's going on, and I'm glad you came here to tell our viewers how you feel, because this is so significant.
I believe Congress has to act. We need to put ourselves in a situation where people can have their due process while they're in custody so that they can be removed.
Congress has to act, but the president has to act as well.
The president's done everything he's got. He's used all the tools he's had. There's nothing else he can do. I don't believe so. Appreciate it.
Coming up, as President Trump deploys tanks and aircraft for his July 4th extravaganza here in Washington, CNN learns that military chiefs are not happy. The Armed Services Committee. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Golden Corral. Dan gets a slow smoked sirloin, and my little trio are as happy as shrimp. Oops, clams. And Mom got it all. Hook, line, and sirloin. The slow smoked sirloin and shrimp trio. Golden Corral, the only one for everyone.
Super Emma just about sleeps in her king. But when we realized she was battling sensitive skin, we switched to Tide Pods Free and Gentle. It's gentle on her skin and dermatologist recommended. Tide Free and Gentle. Safe for skin with psoriasis and eczema.
If you just want a slice of pizza, you don't buy the whole pie. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why pay for more than you need? For as low as $20 a month, you can get talk, text, and data from Consumer Cellular with no contract and connections on the nation's largest wireless networks. You'll also receive award-winning support. Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service again. Plus, AARP members get exclusive discounts. Switch to Consumer Cellular today. With our 30-day guarantee, it's completely risk-free. Call, go online, or find us at Target.
Smile.
No matter how well you provide for your family today, if you don't have life insurance, their future may be at risk. Think about what would happen if you were gone. Would they struggle to pay the bills and face an uncertain future? They don't have to. You can help guarantee those you love $200,000, $500,000, $750,000 or more with life insurance through AIG Direct. We'll help you get more for your money, up to 70% more. Just look. Less than $14 a month buys a 40-year-old man a $250,000 term life policy. That's up to 3 times what you can get from other companies for the same price. No wonder millions of people rely on AIG companies. The call is free, the quote is free, and there's no obligation. Make the future more secure for those you love. Call now so you can sleep better at night. For a free quote, call 1-800-765-5455 or visit AIGDirect.com.
Thank you. I feel like I've been on a diet my entire life. I even cut out bread and pasta for a day. And then I tried Noom.
I feel like anyone could use Noom.
It's an easy to stick to program that actually changed my habits. It changed the way I look at things.
They say it's based on the cognitive behavioral approach. I just say it works.
It just clicked. It worked. It worked with Noom. Visit Noom.com and lose the weight for good.
These days, you can't go anywhere without your phone in your hand. So to keep it secure when your hands are busy, WeatherTech invented the Cup Phone. With removable cups, the Cup Phone fits any size cup holder and adjusts to secure virtually any size phone. Tilts for perfect viewing, even allows easy access while charging. So if you're driving, boating, or even golfing, it fits perfectly. Whatever you drive, whatever phone you have, Cup Phone is the perfect fit. Order your American-made Cup Phone today at WeatherTech.com.
We need to talk. You and I are busy. Make time for what you love and find help for what you don't. Simply download Tackle and choose the pre-priced job that you need, and voila! An approved provider is at your doorstep the same day. So whether it's assembling furniture or just mowing the yard, Tackle is the proven solution that fits your schedule. That's Tackle.
It's quite the buffet in this hotel, isn't it? It really is. And so close to the stadium. I managed to book the last room for $150. I booked the last room a few months back. I booked the last room a week ago. I booked yesterday. One night, $99. What? Some hotel booking sites panic you into booking the last room, but they often don't have all the availability. Instead, use Trivago. Trivago will search for available rooms and compare hotel prices from hundreds of websites worldwide. At least I got the last ticket to the game. Need to know. Hotel? Trivago. Dear Lexus.
Dear Lexus, it is with a very grateful heart that I write you about your amazing employees.
Eric volunteered to come to my rescue that evening.
To a mom, these things really matter.
From this day forward,
I'm a Lexus customer for life. Thank you. Sincerely,
Ivy.
David Gregg.
Crafting every experience for our guests with the same level of care we craft our vehicles. That's what makes Lexus, Lexus. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com.
We offer a free book on mesothelioma. Call for the free book and receive so much more. Call 1-800-831-3700.
Frantic preparations are now underway for the National 4th of July celebration here in Washington. But this year, President Trump is taking command, and some military leaders are concerned. Go back to our White House correspondent, Caitlin Collins. You've got more on the late-breaking developments. What are you hearing, Caitlin?
Well, Wolf, tonight White House officials are scrambling to put the final touches on the president's celebration as he is defending this show of firepower while also facing questions about whether or not he's politicizing the military and also how much all of this is going to cost.
Armored vehicles rolling into Washington tonight as the city prepares for President Trump's Independence Day extravaganza, which will feature those tanks parked at the Lincoln Memorial, military flyovers, and a VIP section for his political allies. But there are concerns about the price tag. Trump tweeting, "The cost of our great salute to America tomorrow will be very little compared to what it is worth. We own the planes, we have the pilots, the airport is right next door, all we need is the fuel. We own the tanks and all." But that's not so. The Washington Post reports the National Park Service will divert $2.5 million from entrance and recreation fees to cover a fraction of the cost, money that's typically reserved for park improvement. And the administration is refusing to reveal how much this will cost taxpayers overall. Trump's claim that the equipment is right next door is also misleading. Sources tell CNN the aircraft he wants must be brought in from California, Kentucky, Missouri, and Florida. Trump is also facing criticism from Democrats who say he's turning the patriotic holiday into a partisan one.
And instead of addressing something like veteran homelessness, he's spending it on boosting his ego with a parade that's fundamentally about him and then getting tickets into the hands of wealthy donors for the Republican Party. What a waste of money.
CNN has learned that leaders at the Pentagon are also reluctant to put tanks and other armored vehicles on display.
The truth is, he's politicizing the armed forces when he does it this way. It's not a political event. It's an event that's supposed to bring the people of the country together.
Several top military chiefs won't attend the celebration Thursday and are sending their deputies instead, though they say that's because they had prior plans. All this as the president is facing other setbacks at home.
You go through all this detail and you're not allowed to ask whether or not somebody is a citizen?
Trump insisting today he's not dropping his effort to add a citizenship question to the census, despite his Commerce Secretary saying he was. The president tweeting, the new reports about the Department of Commerce dropping its quest to put the citizenship question on the census is incorrect, or to state it differently, fake. This after Wilbur Ross announced yesterday that the Census Bureau has started the process of printing the questionnaires without the question. Meanwhile, Iran's president is now warning that his country will boost its uranium levels beyond what was in the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, a move that could further ramp up tensions with the United States.
Now, Wolf, we brought you some breaking news yesterday about how the administration was suddenly dropping its effort to add that citizenship question to the census, and now we have got some more breaking news, Wolf, that they are reversing course on that move. Because a DOJ lawyer told a federal judge in Maryland today that now they have been instructed to try to move forward to find a way to add that citizenship question to the census if it can be in compliance with the Supreme Court's recent decision, which essentially shot down the administration's reasoning for why they needed to add that citizenship question to the census. Now, Wolf, this comes after a tweet from the president this morning where he said that the reports that they were going to drop that effort to put that question on the census were fake, even though his own Commerce Secretary, Wilbur Ross, put out a statement saying that they were not going to be trying to do so anymore, even though they disagreed with the Supreme Court, and that they were going to start printing the 2020 census without that question on it. Now, there seems to be some confusion going on because another Justice Department attorney told that same judge today that they have been instructed to continue with the printing without that question on it for the 2020 census, but they did tell the judge, Wolf, that the situation is fluid. So essentially, we went from yesterday, they said they were going to drop the effort to put this question on there. Now they're saying they're going to try to put the question back on the census, even though it doesn't seem clear that they have a path forward to do so, Wolf.
Yeah, what a complete flip by the Department of Justice, presumably ordered by the President of the United States. Caitlin Collins, thanks very much for that report. Joining us now, Democratic Senator Mazie Hirono of Hawaii. She's a member of both the Judiciary and the Armed Services Committees. Thanks so much, Senator, for joining us. Let me get your immediate reaction to this breaking news on the citizenship question. The Justice Department now says it has been instructed to examine whether there is a path forward consistent with the Supreme Court's decision that would allow us, the statement says, to include the citizenship question on the census. What's your reaction to this complete 180-degree flip by the Department of Justice and the Department of Commerce?
Chaos and confusion continues to reign, emanated from this president. And he continues to think that he can do whatever he wants and force his various departments, including the Commerce Department and the Department of Justice, to bend to his will regardless of the Supreme Court's decision on the census case. So once again, we see the spectacle of the president acting like he's the dictator of our country. And you had your previous guest talking about how he acknowledges that there is a humanitarian crisis at the border, but they are doing everything they can to change that. At the same time, you have the president saying that these people are living in better conditions than they've ever had in the countries that they live in. So where's the incentive for improving the situation at the border? You have a president who runs amok, and also I have to say, the picture of all of these people, children, locked up behind the cages, and the tanks rolling in for the Trump show for the 4th of July. Is that our country? That's not the country that I think is a great country that people want to come to.
It's a huge, huge embarrassment for the United States of America. And the president claimed in that tweet just in the past hour or so that these migrants in Border Patrol custody are actually, in his words, living in far safer conditions than where they came from. What do you make of the president's claim?
And what is that? Well, but a signal that why change anything? Why improve their conditions? Why pay any attention to the number of Democratic bills that would improve what's going on in the border, including a bill that I introduced that would provide a level of humanitarian assistance to the children in these facilities. So, this is what Trump always does. He really reveals the dark underbelly of our country. And the cruelty that his language and what he says, which in my view, if you're a Border Patrol person who participated, one of 7,000 or so in the secret Facebook that makes fun of the migrants and their hardships and their deaths, what kind of message is that? I think that these people who participated are totally on the same page with the President of the United States.
Thank you, reaction also to the President's decision to change the 4th of July celebration here in Washington. And you're a member of the Armed Services Committee. What message does it send to have the President speak tomorrow flanked by tanks and military leaders?
The message is that the President is so enamored with the military and the fact that, he poses up certainly to all of the totalitarian type of leaders, most recently Kim Jong-un and Putin, that a show of military force is what he thinks is going to make him look strong. Quite the opposite. It makes him look, in my view, pretty pathetic as someone who has totally wrong priorities. The 4th of July is supposed to be a national holiday. He's making it not only political, but he's making it all about himself. It's the Trump show, folks.
Senator Hirono, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Still ahead, more reaction to President Trump's latest series of tweets insisting the overcrowded, unsanitary conditions at U.S. detention facilities are better than where migrants are actually from. Plus, I'll be speaking with Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, who isn't happy about the cost or politics of the president's July 4th event on the National Mall.
Wireless network claims are so confusing. America's most reliable network, the nation's largest and most reliable network. The best network is even better. Best, fastest, best, enough. Sprint's doing things differently. They're offering a new 100% total satisfaction guarantee. I mean, I think Sprint's network and savings are great, but don't just take my word for it. Try it out and decide for yourself. Switch to Sprint and get both an unlimited plan and one of the newest phones included for just $35 a month.
Parents have a way of imagining the worst, especially when your easily distracted teenager has the car. At Subaru, we're taking on distracted driving. Sensors that alert you when your eyes are off the road. The all-new Subaru Forester. The safest Forester ever.
Cover it up. That's what I did when I started this my hair. Now I use Keeps, the easiest way for me to keep my hair. Keeps sends me clinically proven treatments that can stop my hair loss, which means no more covering up. Go to Keeps.com to learn more.
You're a drifter? I thought you were Kevin's dad.
If you ride, you get it. Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
With my hepatitis C, I felt I couldn't be at my best for my family. And only 8 weeks with Maverick, I was cured. And nothing could be right.
Ask me for reminders of my hep C therapies, but I'm only with Maverick. I was cured.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hello?
Yo.
Speaking?
This is Andre. Andre? Hello? Ooh. Yeah. Hello?
hired you because you're really cool.
He's a bully.
I will do anything to protect my people.
How's it going?
How's what going?
The John Hughes scripts. It just jumped off the page. I remember reading 16 Candles in the back of my parents' car, just stretched out on the seat, cracking up.
It's like Eggo waffles and popping into toast.
You will lie on the floor for hours or days in constant, terrible anguish, which often results in a tragic outcome. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Don't worry, help is on the way. With any of Life Alert's 3 emergency systems, help can be summoned immediately, whether at home,
I've fallen and I can't get up.
in the bathroom,
I've fallen in the shower.
or on the go.
No, I'm in the park and I can't get up.
And batteries never need charging. Life Alert saves a life every 11 minutes.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-987-1212.
You don't like it? Nope, I really don't like it. But I think we should try it.
1-800-987-1212.
We're following multiple breaking stories right now. The Justice Department here in Washington just revealed it is now considering whether a citizenship question can, after all, be added to the census. This comes just after a new series of tweets from the president insisting migrants in overcrowded detention centers actually are living in better conditions than in the countries where they came from. Let's get some insight from our political and legal experts. And Laura Jarrett, who covered the Justice Department for us yesterday, there was an official statement from the Justice Department, an official public statement from the Commerce Department saying they were moving on with not be the census citizenship question because there was a deadline. They were moving on. The president this morning tweets the news reports about the Department of Commerce dropping its quest to put the citizenship question on the census is incorrect, or, to state it differently, fake. We are absolutely moving forward as we must because of the importance of the answer to this question. It wasn't fake. These were official statements from the Department of Justice and the Department of Commerce. The president has seen the Justice said, you know what, we're going to go back to the
It's astounding. There's no other word to put it. You know, lawyers have to make tough arguments a lot of times. The Justice Department had to go into court today because a federal judge saw the president's tweet and said, this you directly contradicted what you told me in court yesterday when you said the decision was final and you weren't going to put it on the questionnaire. That's incredible that we cannot trust 2 federal agencies that told the American people one thing.
Please leave your message for 917-837-047.
Hey man, what's up? This is me, Dre. This is my number, man. So
Message has been recorded. Record your message after the tone. Simply hang up when done. Or for delivery options, press the pound sign.
Yup.
Yeah, right. Well, first of all, you know, in the administration's own legal filings throughout the entire year in which they were trying to defend the question, they said that this issue had to be decided by July 1st because that was the deadline for printing the new census documents. And in fact, I believe that even today, despite all of the president's fulminations and this reversal, that the career attorneys have indicated that the printing is ongoing. You know, that they are already moving forward by printing this without the citizenship question. And look, for the president, this has both practical and symbolic importance. Practically, obviously, it is a way to shift power away, electoral power away from more diverse places to less diverse places. But symbolically, if you look at the president's core message from the beginning, it has been one of restoration, make America great again, going back to an earlier kind of time in our history. And what way is more powerful to say that than to literally wipe out of existence millions of primarily Hispanic Americans by not counting them in the census? He has a lot invested in this, but it's not clear that even he can reverse the tracks at this point.
This entire thing is nuts on so many levels. First of all, we talked about the different statements put out by Justice Department and Commerce. There's a statement put out by the Supreme Court. This was a ruling that said you can't do this. So what is the president saying here? Is he saying that he's defying a Supreme Court ruling? I mean, if that's what's going on, this is much, much bigger than a technical issue over the census. And the other issue, of course, is just how dysfunctional the Trump administration is. I mean, the census is something that happens every 10 years, and they can't get this right. And the fact that the White House and the president were not on the same page as his Commerce Department and Justice Department is just nuts. But the biggest issue here to me is this is a Supreme Court decision that right now it looks like on its face the president is just saying we're not going to comply.
No, I mean, it may be though, right? I mean, they're saying is they want to continue to appeal because John Roberts did leave them the option of going back through the court system again and bringing it all the way back to the Supreme Court. So the president may be suggesting that, but even that may be obsolete at this point if they're already printing the documents.
All right, I want to get also to the other series of tweets that have just posted. Maybe this I'll read it here and we'll discuss. Our Border Patrol people are not hospital workers, doctors, or nurses. The Democrats' bad immigration laws, which could be easily fixed, are the problem. Great job by Border Patrol above and beyond. Many of these illegal aliens are living far better now than where they came from and in far safer conditions. No matter how good things actually look, even if perfect, the Democrat visitors will act shocked and aghast at how terrible things are. I want your reaction because the president is basically saying this is the Democrats' fault. What's going on his watch? He's been president for 2.5 years, and we see how these kids and these adults are being treated.
And he's ignoring really what is the reality of the ground. Pictures out of those facilities, the stories out of those facilities, those kids and older folks in cages, not being able to shower, not having their diapers changed. So these real squalid conditions that these kids are living in, and no telling what sort of long-term psychological damage might occur because of this. In listening to the acting DHS person, the ICE person, the former, you had on earlier, I mean, he talked about the situation, how overwhelmed these officials are. It's 100% over capacity. He also said that the misery is going to continue. There's obviously this funding that's going to this situation. Unlikely that it changes anything rapidly because this is just a systemic problem, not only in those countries, but in the immigration and asylum system here with backlog of cases, almost I think a million cases or something like that. Very few judges able to handle them quickly. So this, I mean, obviously Democrats want to shine a light on this problem. Americans, obviously, a lot of the polling shows that Americans aren't pleased with the way this president is handling immigration, and there's no sense that there's going to be anything that happens quickly to change these very terrible conditions that these folks are in.
The Inspector General and the Department of Homeland Security painted this awful picture of what's going on, a bitter indictment of the administration's policies.
So despite what that tweet says, it's not just Democrats going down there and for political purposes trying to say things are worse than Inspector Generals across the country are known for being nonpartisan, excellent investigators, and this report paints a picture that in some ways is even worse than what some of the members tweeted and wrote about after they visited. I mean, look, Trump is Trump. The situation needs a legislative fix. And I think that was very interesting about what Vitello said. He didn't actually go after the president, but he did point to a lot of problems that Congress needs to fix. The White House is not going to fix it. Trump's not going to fix it. I think Democrats have to figure out a way to see if they can get some legislation through this very dysfunctional system to address it, because otherwise it's going to continue the way it is.
Yeah, the notion of comprehensive immigration reform, that seems so quaint, Ron.
But even so narrow.
Yeah, right. Well, look, Democrat, look, ideas are beginning to develop among Democrats. Center for American Progress has put out a pretty comprehensive plan. I mean, the real question I was left with after the Vitello interview was, he was basically saying the squalor and the conditions were essentially a byproduct of the sheer volume. But the question is whether the cruelty is the point, as my colleague Adam Serwer said, whether the president, as his tweet suggests, is trying to dissuade people from coming by making it absolutely horrible when they do.
It could be both. The overwhelming is making the condition worse. Trump doesn't want to fix it.
Quick programming note for our viewers. Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden will be sitting down for an exclusive interview with CNN's Chris Cuomo. Be sure to tune in Friday morning at both 6 and 8 a.m. Eastern. Also coming up from tax and fireworks to the invited guests and anticipated protests. We'll have more preparations for President Trump's July 4th celebration here in Washington on the National Mall. The mayor of Washington, D.C., Muriel Bowser, she will be here in the Situation Room in just a few minutes.
We're Oscar Mayer Deli Fresh, and you may know us from your very first sandwich. Ultra mammoth masterpiece, and whatever this was. Because we make our meat with the good of the deli and no artificial preservatives. Make every sandwich count with Oscar Mayer Deli Fresh.
As you now have 76,000 points as part of the loyalty program, there's a 5% discount applied to your hotel room. $120 for the night, please.
Oh, 5% off as well as free Wi-Fi. Not bad.
$95 for the night, please, sir.
Wait, what?
If you use Trivago, Trivago will compare hotel prices from hundreds of websites worldwide, so you can often find a better deal for your hotel room. And also free Wi-Fi. Maybe you should try Trivago next time. Hotel Trivago.
Dealing with psoriatic arthritis pain was so frustrating.
My skin, it was embarrassing.
My joints, they hurt.
The pain and swelling.
The tenderness.
The psoriasis.
I had to find something that worked on all of this.
I found Cosentix. Now, watch me.
Real people with active psoriatic arthritis are getting real relief with Cosentix. It's a different kind of targeted biologic. Cosentix treats more than just the joint pain of psoriatic arthritis. It even helps stop further joint damage. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentix. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about an infection or symptoms. If your inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen, or if you've had a vaccine or plan to, serious allergic reactions may occur.
I got real relief.
I got clear skin and feel better.
Now, watch me.
Get real relief with Cosentix.
Exactly. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Nice. What's up with your partner?
Oh! We just spend all day telling everyone how we customize car insurance because no two people are alike. So, Limo gets a little confused when he sees another bird that looks exactly like him. Yeah. I'll figure it out. Only pay for what you need.
When you shop for your home at Wayfair, you'll find just what you need and so much more. You get to spend less time searching and more time loving every room. Even the ones you never thought could look good. You get great deals on the things you need and actually want. You get fast and free shipping on thousands of items. And finds for every home and every style at every price. That's what you get when you've got Wayfair. So shop now.
Inflammation may cause everyday joint discomfort. Turmeric supports healthy inflammation response due to physical overexertion. Cunol provides superior absorption compared to regular turmeric. Cunol, better turmeric.
Remember that degree you got in taxation? Of course you don't, because you didn't. Your job isn't doing hard work. It's making them do hard work and getting paid for it.
Snap and sort your expenses to save over $4,600 at tax time. QuickBooks, backing you.
Celebrate your independent style at Lumber Liquidators Flooring Company. Save 36% on premium Bellawood Carriage House White Ash. And save on Stone Look waterproof floors. Plus get 12 months special financing. Lumber Liquidators. Beautiful floors for less.
Okay, here is your paperwork. Review it and make sure everything.
Yo.
You know, laser measure.
Now, nothing comes even close to laser measured WeatherTech floor layers. They offer the ultimate protection front, back, and even up the sides. For a full line of premium automotive accessories, order at WeatherTech.com. Nothing protects like WeatherTech.
doesn't matter whether you saw them in theaters, on TV, or streamed them on your phone, you're about to see some of the most amazing stories behind Hollywood's most iconic films. CNN's original series, The Movies, premieres Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, with a behind-the-scenes look at the blockbuster hits of the 1980s. Here's our top one.
Call it the age of big budgets, big adventures, and big audiences. None good. In the 1980s, the box office blockbuster took off.
Four of the biggest money-making films of recent times have come from two young, gifted filmmakers.
Pushed by the grand visions of a new generation of filmmakers, including Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, even already huge franchises exploded.
It was the Star Wars movie that took the whole thing to a whole other level. Star Wars was huge, but Empire Strikes Back was phenomenal.
Perhaps the nation was just ready for it after a couple of decades of turmoil.
Oh, I'm not a crook.
The rise of President Ronald Reagan, former movie star, heralded a new optimism for many voters. A time of ascendant national power, an improving economy, and conservative values. Still, not all filmmakers were sold on that vision.
The idea was that after all sorts of troubles, particularly Watergate in Vietnam, we healed. But as the public pronouncement is, we're good again. Our movies are telling us, no, we're not. No, we are not.
So even as flag wavers like Top Gun roared, Hollywood also rolled out deeply moving pictures about families, relationships, love, loss, and the clash between what America was and what it was becoming.
The big film's about these kids who were in college together in the mid-60s and are now no longer anti-establishment, but actually are part of the establishment.
In some ways, it all opened the door for new kinds of movies about women's rights, social justice, race relations. About comedy.
Are you telling me you built a time machine? Kind of a DeLorean?
About romance.
Oh.
And after the 80s, our love affair with the movies will never be the same.
I'll have what she's having.
Tom Ford, CNN.
What do you think coming from, yo? Where's Frederick? Yo, where is Frederick? I'm sorry.
Following a presidential tweet, the Justice Department now tells a federal judge it's been instructed to examine if there's a way to include a controversial citizenship question in the census.
Thanks, Golden Corral. Dan gets a slow smoked sirloin, and my little trio are as happy as shrimp. Oops, clams. And Mom got it all: hook, line, and sirloin. Slow smoked sirloin and shrimp trio. Golden Corral, the only one for everyone.
It's a long 4th of July weekend, which means more time to check out your favorite Kias. All of our amazing vehicles come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty and advanced technology features. And during the sales, hurry and get 0% APR for 66 months and up to $2,000 additional cash on specially tagged 2019 vehicles. Visit your local Kia dealer, look for a sticker, and see. Hurry in this 4th of July weekend. Offer ends July 8th.
There's an exotic place where you can swim in the sky. Where all the pleasures of a 5-star luxury vacation are all included.
This and that.
Sandals Grenada. Experience the sandals of tomorrow today. Call 1-800-SANDALS.
Hello, I'm Danny Thomas. Many years ago, I made a fantastic promise to build a shrine. The shrine is going to be a hospital for our children and free.
And my father fulfilled his promise and opened St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. He believed that no child should die in the dawn of life. Today, the survival rate is 80%, but still, 1 in 5 children diagnosed with cancer in the U.S. will not survive.
The worst words you could ever hear is your child has cancer.
I was afraid, I was scared.
You just hope that it's wrong and get help.
Together,
Let's end childhood cancer. Go online or call this number right now. With your $19 monthly gift, you'll support life-saving research and treatment and help St. Jude save children's lives. My father made a promise that no family would ever receive a bill from St. Jude for anything, not for treatment or travel or housing or food. We believe all the family should worry about is helping their child live.
Hope starts here. Hope will start with St. Jude.
Go online or call this number right now with your $19 monthly gift. Use your credit or debit card and get this St. Jude t-shirt you proudly wear.
We are in the absolute best place in the world.
We have so much more work to do. And like my father said from the very beginning, I can't do it alone. Please help me. So go online or call with your $19 monthly gift right now. Because hope starts right here.
The 2020 race is revving up. Live from Detroit. 20 candidates, 2 big nights. The CNN Democratic presidential debate, July 30th and 31st, only on CNN.
The following is a car warranty alert. If you're driving without an auto warranty or it's close to expiring, you could be at risk of expensive auto repairs that could cost you thousands. CarShield could qualify you for a auto protection plan that could save you from expensive auto repair bills. Choose the CarShield plan that's right for you so you won't have to pay for covered repairs. No more worrying if you can afford a breakdown. No more expensive parts and labor. No vehicle inspection. No credit checks. Plus, you can pick any ASE certified mechanic or dealership to fix your car. You also receive roadside assistance, rental car coverage, and hotel reimbursement while traveling. Right now, stop the expensive repair bills. Don't put yourself or your wallet at risk. CarShield cars go fast. Call CarShield now. Call 800-921-0731. 800-921-0731.
Mucho gana.
Happening now, breaking news.
Mucho obrigada.
President Trump accuses Democrats of overreacting to conditions at the border, even after a Governor Westcott warned of the dangers and appealed for action. I'll ask a congresswoman who just visited the border about Mr. Trump's claim that detainees are living far better now. Show of a lifetime. The president insists his military-style July 4th celebration is worth the cost, even as he refuses to be open about the total price tag. We're learning about serious reservations within the Pentagon. I'll ask the D.C. mayor about her concerns. Census shift. Just when it seemed that the Trump administration had given up on adding a citizenship question to the 2020 census, the Justice Department seems to have had a change of heart. Was the Department of Justice pressured by the president to keep on fighting? And honoring a hero, a first responder who saved lives on 9/11 and died of cancer because of it, is laid to rest after facing Congress for one last fight. We want to welcome our viewers in the United States and around the world. I'm Wolf Blitzer, you're in the Situation Room.
This is CNN Breaking News.
We're following breaking news on President Trump dismissing new warnings about inhumane conditions for migrants held at the border. In a new tweet, he claims many detainees are, quote, living far better now than where they came from and in far safer conditions. His comment in stark contrast to new evidence of overcrowding and emotional suffering in detention facilities. Pediatricians are now sharing very disturbing images drawn by migrant children separated from their parents, showing people in cages and behind bars. We're also following growing concern about President Trump's July 4th extravaganza on the National Mall. CNN has learned that military chiefs are worried the event will take on a political tone, and they're wary of plans to showcase tanks and weaponry. I'll get reaction from Washington Mayor Muriel Bowser, and I'll speak with Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, who just visited the border. Our correspondents and analysts are also standing by. first. Let's go to our White House correspondent, Caitlin Collins. Caitlin, the president seemed unfazed by new evidence of very disturbing conditions at border facilities.
Yeah, he is, Wolf, and he's downplaying the criticism that you've heard from Democrats who have visited those facilities, saying in a new series of tweets just in the last hour, quote, "Our Border Patrol people are not hospital workers, doctors, or nurses." He said the Democrats' bad immigration laws, which could easily be fixed, are the problem here. Great job by Border Patrol above and beyond. Many of these illegal aliens are living far better now than where they came from and in far safer conditions. Then he added another tweet, Wolf, and he said, "If illegal immigrants are unhappy with the conditions and the quickly built or refitted detention centers, just tell them not to come." Now, Wolf, this comes after a report from the president's own government detailed just what these conditions that these migrants are living in. Overcrowded, dirty, and that this is a widespread problem they're facing there on the border, with people in standing room only places where they haven't taken showers, some of them the entire time they've been there, and some of the children not having hot meals. But the president is sending these tweets, Wolf, after you've seen several Democrats go and visit these facilities, come out on the other side, be incredibly critical of the administration, and say that they were told that there were some people there who were drinking water out of toilets. Tonight, he's downplaying those concerns and trying to put the blame back on Democrats, even as his own DHS acting secretary, Kevin McAleenan, has said he is going to launch an investigation into reports that there is a Facebook group where current and former Border Patrol agents are denigrating migrants, talking about them, mocking their deaths, something that he said himself he found highly disturbing.
Caitlin Collins from the White House stand by. I'm going to get back to you shortly, but I want to go to the border right now for a reality check on what the president has been tweeting. Soon as Nick Valencia is in El Paso, Texas for us. Nick, as Mr. Trump is praising border agents, his own Department of Homeland Security is launching a whole new investigation.
That's right, and I spoke to a veteran Border Patrol agent here who says conditions are just horrid. They spoke to us on camera so long as they remained anonymous. And when I asked, why are you coming out now, this agent said they're tired of seeing these conditions, and that so long as Border Patrol continues to respond the way they do and the way they are, migrants will never be safe in U.S. elections. Tonight, a veteran Border Patrol agent now speaking exclusively to CNN about the newly exposed secret Customs and Border Protection Facebook group calling itself On 1015, where current and former Border Patrol agents reportedly made jokes about dead migrants, derogatory comments about Latina lawmakers, including Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who posted offensive memes. In a tweet today, Acting Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kevin McAleenan says he's ordering an immediate investigation into the offensive posts. And it comes as we learn about similar attitudes and comments being made by ICE agents, this time in thousands of documents obtained by two advocacy groups. CNN reviewed some of the more than 5,000 documents released by the organization Mi Gente. In internal ICE emails from 2017, ICE was planning raids dubbed Operation Mega. One email by an unidentified individual concludes with happy hunting and target building. But in response to these new documents, ICE says it does not condone the use of offensive or politically charged language in reference to agency enforcement operations. Today, we're also hearing new details about what's going on inside those detention facilities at the U.S.-Mexico border. Dr. Zaragoza, the president-elect of the American Academy of Pediatrics, toured two of these facilities last week.
Sure that everything is protected, and then ultimately put the windows in a great fashion so that you can see those windows every single day for years and years to come.
Find out how you can help save on your energy bills and increase the value of your home today. Call 800-249-7753 to schedule a free, no-obligation consultation, and you can save 20% off your entire project. This is a limited-time offer, so call for your free, no-obligation.
Guys that you had known, and Willie Nelson was one of them. So we would go on little tour legs, a couple weeks at a time, and so I got the experience of being 11 years old and just stoned out of my mind on just by sitting there, you know. It was great. You know, I would recommend it to anyone.
During your career, you went through a really difficult time, and you credit your wife for helping you turn your life around.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened.
Yeah, like in 2011, I had found rock bottom. Great place to be, because then you know there's only one place to be. Yeah. So, I was living in a house, and we were separating from the girl I was with, and I left, and there were some embers in the fireplace. That was no big deal. We had fires there every night. But I stayed at a friend of mine's house in Santa Monica, and I woke up in the morning to a whole list of texts. Like, get back to the house is on fire, Hollywood Highlands closed, where are you? Are you okay? And then I didn't have a first class in security because I was down on my luck at that time. So I just lived with my Great Dane in my little boxy car, and stayed with some of my friends around town. And then April was one of them, and she said, hey, you can stay on my couch. And then we had spent the whole 90s together, and when things were really taking off. So then we rekindled a bit of what we'd had, and thankfully she was amenable to me staying there at her house. And then she said, well, I still have that engagement ring. And I said, well, would you want to put it back on? And she says, eventually, yeah.
It's really cool that when you get a Renewal by Andersen replacement window, it's your window. Literally. From the moment you place your order and
very vulnerable, poor communities. And, I asked the President of the United States, please stop tweeting. Go there yourself. See the conditions. I don't know what to do other than to call for his humanity, some sort of, this is a humanitarian crisis, and we need to see it for as is. Instead of blaming others, let's fix it. Instead of tweeting, let's actually take action to addressing this issue. The humanitarian crisis is here now. And trying to compare conditions or not, we saw it with our own eyes. And I implore my colleagues, Republicans and Democrats, who continue to fund the continuation of separation of children and the continuation of just this same cycle. I can tell you, agents took me aside, 2 of them, and said, throwing money at this is not going to fix it. Stop. The separation policy needs to end. This is not what we were trained to do. They said, Congresswoman, we're not social workers, we're not medical care workers. We're being told to do this. No, we're here to protect the border. This is not what we feel like is protecting the border. They don't want to be put in this condition. And these are officers of the federal government. These are folks that, the president needs to also be protecting, but also, and more importantly, listen to them. They're on the front lines. And I can tell you, when you go there, they were prepared for us to come. So yeah, I may not have smelled certain orders, but when we finally were able to have access into the cell-like, jail-like facilities, you spoke to people, real people, that deserve to go through the legal process. I mean, some have come here for asylum, and we're not giving them the fair justice or due process to doing that. That's what we're doing. We're ignoring the law. It's becoming so lawless, so chaotic at the border. And this president needs to realize this is not a lawless country. You're not a dictator. You have to follow the asylum laws. And look, it goes to the point of, even when we were there, even touching the women, broke them down to tears. That's how much they've been demonized and dehumanized. Looking at a father's eyes, holding his 8-year-old and 14-year-old, just terrified that he's going to be separated.
It's an awful, awful situation. As you know, ProPublica released a report on a secret Facebook group of Border Patrol agents, current and former. Just before your visit, that report showed very disturbing sexist and racist comments. The acting Secretary of Homeland Security, Kevin McAleenan, he's vowing to investigate right now. How do you think that Customs and Border Protection should address these really concerning Facebook posts, for example, and the underlying attitudes?
Out in public, in a committee hearing, with the co-equal branch of the United States Congress. We do this in closed doors, it's not going to get fixed. Look, when we walked in, before we even got to the jail, to the actual families that were being in our care and being detained, I can tell you right now, right away, one of the agents took a selfie of my colleague Ocasio-Cortez, and just shockingly took some sort of selfie without us noticing, and we noticed right away. I knocked on the door and said, did you just take a selfie? I mean, she did this inappropriately. I mean, she's a federal agent, and beyond protocol. That was not protocol. And do you know, I mean, she did this in front of her superiors, Wolf. She did this in front of people that are literally who she reports to. They begin to laugh. The tension was very, very high. I can tell you, I found out about the Facebook page within probably 20 minutes. We were driving in from the airport to the first facility that we went to, El Paso, what they call Station 1. And as we were walking in, I mean, I was trying to hold my breath, trying to breathe, but I was holding my breath. I didn't realize it until we got in, because I thought to myself, I'm among people that may have threatened my life. I didn't go through the Facebook page, but I can tell you tensions were very, very high. But I can tell you also, the couple agents that have taken me aside were informing me to please report back what's happening here, because they don't want any part of it anymore. And they do actually feel like it's making us less safe, because they're not at the border. They're there, you know, in their eyes, they're not social workers. They're not supposed to be watching over 40, you know, I've met a 4-year-old, you know, some 9 and 10-year-olds. That these are not agents that are equipped to taking care of them, and throwing money at it's not going to fix it. And Mr. President needs to stop tweeting and actually fix this issue.
I understand, Congresswoman, that the scene outside that facility in Flint, Texas was very contentious. I want to play a portion of your comments, and you can hear protesters trying to drown you out. Watch this for a second.
We are putting America first, not hate. So you all can yell and scream. But what we saw today, what we did today, is trying to bring the eyes and ears that you all can't have when we go into these facilities. I will outwork your hate. I will outlove your hate. But I will always put my country first, unlike what you all do.
So, Congresswoman, what exactly were they yelling at you?
Well, I mean, they were yelling Islamophobic hate rhetoric, things that, you know, I don't want to be want repeated. I can tell you it was very un-American. These are individuals that were in the crowd that have every right to be able to, I mean, we have a country that you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to, unless you're threatening any violence, you're allowed to be there. And at the same time, it was a reality check for me, and I think many of our colleagues, just how much the hate from the Trump administration has seeped into communities, especially communities of color like El Paso, Texas, which is very diverse. You hear this constant dehumanization, kind of rhetoric of the othering that happens when you're among people that are spewing out very hateful, painful rhetoric and slurs that you know, you don't want your children or anybody exposed to. I can tell you, I got very angry when they attacked, you know, some of the members there. The things that were said were so volatile. It just made me very proud that I at least am able to serve in the United States Congress very proudly. But I also felt very much the truth was on our side. When we weren't there, nothing could erase what I saw or any of my other colleagues saw. What we saw was inhumanity. It was immoral what our country is doing. We're creating a generation of children who will never forget what we did to them. No amount of apology will ever fix this. And we, as American people, we need our members of Congress to go in there to seek out the truth. And we came out to tell the truth. The truth was, that's what we saw. I mean, if it wasn't for Congressman Castro and others just seeking some photos and information, I mean, many of us, we really were told, don't talk to them, don't take any photos. We were very, very much they were trying to isolate us from even having any direct contact. But for the courage of Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ayanna Pressley, I remember Norma McInerney, many of us were very eager to say, no, we want to speak to them. Even Congresswoman Escobar pleaded and said, wait, I've been able to speak to some of the detainees. Why can't we speak to them today? Well, as soon as the members, the officer didn't follow protocol themselves, we said, well, why should we also follow your protocol? We're going to be able to, we want to be able to speak to the people that were under our care and those that won't ever have access to a congressional hearing. That's why we're there. We're there to be the people's, eyes and ears, and to be able to report back exactly what is happening from within.
I know you got to run, but did you ever feel physically threatened?
I didn't feel physically threatened. I felt very much tension. I felt at one moment a tremendous amount of anger with the stares. Some of those men and women were not very happy that we were there. I mean, these are agents that I think are under a lot of stress, but no excuse for their immoral and inhumane and just their character and how they proceeded to laugh and jokingly think that this was all so very funny, and it wasn't. This is horrifying to be able to see something like this. And you know, sometimes look, at one moment I looked and there was a gentleman there. He was only there for 1 week, an agent. And I said, "You just got here?" He said, "Yep, just came back, came from New York," was pulled in. And you can see he was in a situation he didn't want to be in. And I thought to myself, maybe the others just became more numb to it. Maybe the others had to justify being part of something so ugly and so hard to be part of, and separating families like that. I mean, to have a little 4-year-old come to you at the glass door, and it's just a beautiful child. You know, I'm trying to play with him, trying to connect with him. They wouldn't let us speak to the children directly. And you can see as he slid a little board to me underneath, wanted me to write something, and he kept asking me where his papa was. I don't know how these agents take it every single day, and I'm wondering if they become numb to it. But I also know deep within there is a culture of racism. There's a culture of anti-immigrant hate rhetoric that has been allowed to fester from within, and it was very evident with their stares that that's the one. That's that member of Congress of Muslim faith, the one who's been calling out the president for many of his impeachable offenses. But you felt that kind of tension and that kind of anger towards you as you walked through the halls of the detention centers.
But I just want to be precise, Congresswoman. Some of these agents were actually laughing at you and your colleagues in this congressional delegation?
They were laughing through the window at us after we were very upset that some of them were taking photos.
You think they would be showing some significant respect for the members of Congress who come out to the scene to try to find out what's going on. It's an awful situation. I think everyone agrees. Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for what you're doing.
Thank you.
We'll have more breaking news coming up on a sudden shift by the Department of Justice on the question of adding a new question to the 2020 census. Is President Trump behind it all? And I'll talk with the Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, that is here, about Mr. Trump's takeover of our city's 4th of July celebration and the tax rolling into town.
How do you gauge the greatness of an SUV? Is it to carry cargo or to carry on a legacy? Its show of strength or its sign of intelligence? In crossing harsh terrain or breaking new ground? This is the time to get an exceptional offer on the Mercedes of your midsummer dreams at the Mercedes-Benz summer event going on now. Lease the GLA 250 SUV for just $329 a month at the Mercedes-Benz summer event. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
From each individual to every team, HR Solutions from Ultimate Software show you the whole picture, so you can keep everything working in harmony. Ultimate Software, people first.
Wireless network claims are so confusing. America's most reliable network, the nation's largest and most reliable network. The best network is even better? Best, fastest, best, enough. Sprint's doing things differently. They're offering a new 100% total satisfaction guarantee. I mean, I think Sprint's network and savings are great, but don't just take my word for it. Try it out and decide for yourself. Switch to Sprint and get both an unlimited plan and one of the newest phones included for just $35 a month.
If you have moderate to severe psoriasis, little things can be a big deal. That's why there's Otezla. Otezla is not a cream. It's a pill that treats plaque psoriasis differently. With Otezla, 75% clear skin is achievable. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. It may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting.
Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur. Tell your doctor about your medicines and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Ready to treat differently with a pill? Otezla. Show more of you.
Guess what? We took everything you love about the Bloomin' Onion and created a menu you've never seen before. This Bloomified menu starts at $13.99 and it's gonna blow your bloomin' mind.
Carvana is 6 years old this year and is the fastest growing place to buy a car in the nation. It's because we have thousands of people working hard to make our customers' experiences the best. It's because we have tens of thousands of cars ready to be delivered to your doorstep. And it's why hundreds of thousands of happy customers have ditched the dealership and bought their car online, earning us an average 4.7 stars in the process. So if you didn't know about us before, you do now. We're Carvana, and we want to give you the car buying experience you deserve.
You're turning onto the street and you barely clip a passing car. Minor accident, no big deal, right? Wrong. Your insurance company is going to raise your rate after the other car got a scratch so small you could have fixed it with a pen. Maybe you should take that pen and use it to sign up with a different insurance company.
For drivers with accident forgiveness, Liberty Mutual won't raise their rates because of their first accident. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Family taco night is a heartburn night you can plan for, but surprise pizza at the office means heartburn you didn't expect. Zantac works when you need it. It relieves or prevents heartburn in as little as 30 minutes and lasts up to 12 hours. Zantac. Eat your way, treat your way.
I ain't talking about later, I'm talking about now, boy. Yeah, I want it now.
Donuts, niçoise salad.
Delivering from over 95,000 restaurants nationwide. If you want it all, you can get it all. Grubhub. Restaurants you love delivered.
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com. Mesothelioma is all we do. For over 10 years, we have offered a free book on mesothelioma. Call 1-800-259-9374.
There's breaking news this hour and a new and very complete reversal by the Trump administration. The Justice Department is now signaling that the fight over adding a citizenship question to the 2020 census is back on. Go back to our White House correspondent, Caitlin Collins. Caitlin, what do you learn?
Well, this is stunning. It was just 24 hours ago that I was on this show telling you that something surprising had happened because the administration had told a federal court they were going to drop their effort to get that citizenship question added to the census, and they were going to print it without it. Now they have been back at a hearing today, and they said actually to a federal judge they're going to try to move forward with a way to add that citizenship question to the census. Now, what changed in between those two periods was a tweet from the president this morning calling reports that they were no longer going to try to put a citizenship question on the census fake, even though his Commerce Secretary, Wilbur Ross, put out an on-the-record statement yesterday saying that is exactly what they were doing and that they had told the Commerce Bureau, or the Census Bureau, that they could start printing those questionnaires without that question on there, those 2020 questionnaires. Now, today there was a hearing with a federal judge in Maryland where Justice Department employees, attorneys, had to go in and make this argument because there was so much confusion over what the president was tweeting. Now, I'm going to read you a quote from a Justice Department attorney who says they've been at the Justice Department through several administrations for about 16 years or so, and that they say they always try to be candid with the courts when they're making their argument. This attorney said, quote, "What I told the court yesterday was my best understanding of the state of affairs and apparently also the Commerce Department's state of affairs, because you probably saw Secretary Ross issued a statement very similar to what I told the court. The tweet this morning was the first I had heard of the president's position on this issue. Just like the plaintiffs and Your Honor, I do not have a deeper understanding of what that means at this juncture other than what the president has tweeted. But obviously, as you can imagine, I'm doing my absolute best to figure out what's going on. I can tell you that I have confirmed that the Census Bureau is continuing with the process of printing the questionnaire without a citizenship question, and that process has not stopped." It's that last part that there, Wolf, that is adding a lot of confusion here because are they going to move forward without this question on the census? Are they going to start carrying that census out, sending it out to homes out throughout the nation? Or is the president going to try to delay it? Which he said on Monday night is something he still wanted to do, and he's made pretty clear this is a question he feels belongs on the census. But to see this kind of reversal, Wolf, is pretty stunning because, of course, they were making this argument because the Supreme Court put a freeze on this decision because they said simply the administration had not made the argument well enough. So, of course, Wolf, a ton of confusion over here. They're going to be trying to figure out what is going on over the next few days. Still confusion inside the West Wing. And, Wolf, all of this is coming as White House officials are still trying to put the last-minute touches on the celebration that is planned for tomorrow to celebrate the 4th of July, a celebration that the president has made several demands of his own.
Armored vehicles rolling into Washington tonight as the city prepares for President Trump's Independence Day extravaganza, which will feature those tanks parked at the Lincoln Memorial, military flyovers, and a VIP section for his political allies. But there are concerns about the price tag. Trump tweeting, "The cost of our great salute to America tomorrow will be very little compared to what it is worth. We own the planes, we have the pilots, the airport is right next door. All we need is the fuel. We own the tanks and all." But that's not so. The Washington Post reports the National Park Service will divert $2.5 million from entrance and recreation fees to cover a fraction of the cost, money that's typically reserved for park improvement.